Hey, this is Vivian. I like how I started this video and I'm not even ready to talk. Anyway, so I started this video and so hopefully you get by this time that these are videos for lay people. Obviously, I send my videos out and I send the link out to people in the field and say like, hey, what do you think about the video? Obviously, they are professionals, and the people I send it to that are professionals already know the kind of person I am. I'm already like crazy and whatever. In my day, I talk to people who are infection control, infection preventionists, whatever. But most of the time, I talk to people who are not at my level. So I'm talking to a doctor. I'm talking to other nurses. I'm talking to environmental services. I'm talking to patients, family. I'm talking to people at every level, you know what I mean? And so something came up with my family at the beginning of COVID, and I realized, oh my God, these people don't even know what, like, the difference between bacteria and virus. And this is like huge. I mean, I didn't even know, my family don't even know nothing. So this is kind of huge. And actually, if you get this, you kind of understand why it's so important for us to be kind of like at the forefront of medicine and to be quick about getting seen by a doctor, getting medication quick. A lot of times, I mean, obviously you guys can tell I am like high on life and I want to be quick. But some of the people I know, they're like, man, nah, I'll take 2 Tylenol and like whatever. And it could be like something serious, you know what I mean, or whatever. And I'm just like, nah, you kind of need to do something about that. So I kind of want to lay out, what the difference between, I'm just gonna be like super just like basic about bacteria and viruses, and then I want to go into a little bit about what bacteria and people have in common and what they have different, so you know good and well what you for sure need to do to get ahead, because that's why we're having such an issue. Okay, so bacteria and viruses. So when my family asks like, what in the world is the problem, what's the difference, is that bacteria, they're like little mini robots. And I'm thinking about some of our social problems that we have now. Having a brain and being able to choose, like, they don't have that problem. Like, they don't have to, I mean, have children, but they're not worried about their kids' next meal. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have the like social issues that we do. And so like they're like cockroaches. They just have babies and babies and babies, and they don't really think about their next like they don't care. And so all the crap that we deal with that I don't know, like we have so many things that get in the way of our futures versus their entire lifespan is so short, and they make the most of it. And that's the reason why, like, when it takes time for us to even formulate a process to fight bacteria, viruses, whatever, in that time they've already been born, lived, and died. And passed on the horrible genes that it takes to kill us. So I want to talk to you about selective pressure. So you know how I'm right now, I'm on an assignment in New York City. There are a lot of people in New York City, and obviously, like, we're all bumping against each other. Not much room to move around, and that is kind of what selective pressure is that, like, bacteria that has enough bacteria. And when I say bacteria, I'm keeping it layman's terms, like I said, but a lot of microorganisms have selective pressure. They kind of want space, food, air, whatever, to breathe. There's certain bacteria that don't have, that can't breathe air. They don't want that much air. There's some bacteria that need as much air as possible. And so they're like, oh no, I can't be in this kind of environment. And so they say no to this, yes to that. I like to put this in the context of gang territory, because they're going to make sure that they make it as livable or unlivable as possible for anybody else to be in this territory. In the hospital, I give the example to other nurses about Clostridium difficile. This is a bacteria that, as long as your good poop germs are there, making the environment unlivable for Clostridium difficile. Clostridium difficile is an opportunistic infection. It will not just take over unless the good bacteria is not keeping watch. You know what I mean? And so you want to make sure that your good bacteria, that's like bacteria that you'll find in yogurt, these are bacteria that are on your side. These are common commensals. These you want in there, fighting with you. They like you. They like staying in you and on you and stuff like that. And so I thought that was really, really cool. I actually saw just an article a little bit ago about sleeper cells, which I thought was really funny, because in human terms, a sleeper cell is a bad thing. You don't want sleeper cells, which are terrorist groups, you know what I mean? That are ready to be brought to life, you know what I mean, at any time to destroy things. But in your body, there are bacteria that are good, that you want to be doing their ordinary work, to be alive, keeping opportunistic infections at bay. And those opportunistic infections can be fungus, they can be spores and other bacteria and stuff like that too. There is something like a viral load that something called a viral load, that there is a certain amount of bacteria that you need in order to truly infect you. So one little cell sitting here doesn't matter at all. The right cell, Ebola, I don't know. There's some bacteria, we don't know how much is needed to infect you. It's so virulent. The viral load is so low that we don't know. It hasn't been tested. We have no idea how much, versus something like salmonella that we need a lot of it. You need a smudge of poop in that to probably make you sick, that your acid in your mouth and all the enzymes that you have in you can break it down. You need a lot of it in order to make you ill, that your digestion, your immune system, which really starts in your gut, can actually break down those bad bacteria pretty well. And so you really need a lot of those bacteria. Like I said, going back to the gang mentality, that you yourself, without medication, can fight off those bacteria pretty well. But then it gets to a point where they overload your ability at some point to fight things off. Now I get to a point where I have to actually explain bacteria and viruses. So when COVID happened, they were, I think somebody in my family was talking about multiply, like a virus multiplying. And I was just like, no. And I was just like, no, virus don't multiply. So imagine when back, I don't remember when this was, but people were leaving your packages on the door, and people were worried that bombs were exploding or something like that. I said, imagine that a virus is a package, and And inside that package, if you touch it, it explodes. That is like a virus. A virus is a package or a letter that has in it all the instructions of what to do. Sometimes that virus does nothing, doesn't do anything. It just is pointless. And why there's a virus that does nothing, I don't know. Maybe it will do something someday. I don't know. Sometimes there's a virus that does something stupid, like it makes you turn green. Sometimes there's a virus that does something horribly deadly, like HIV, Hep C, you know? And so what that virus does is just tell bacteria, tells humans, tells animals, tells other things to do something, to make more of it. And so it is just instructions. It cannot breathe, it cannot eat. All it does is tell something what to do. So just like a virus in a computer is that it was just an email, it was just an execution, tell me to do something. And so when this COVID virus came along, this virus is instructions from an animal, from somewhere else, saying, tell me what to do. When it got mutated, it went through an animal and got mutated, and it was told, now tell someone else what to do. That is powerful medicine. And I can go through that in a totally different mini-series. But a bacteria is a living organism that can wholly function, breathe, poop, pee, whatever, all on its own. It has waste products. It can create its own living organisms. It can split or have asexual reproduction, and also its method of infecting other cells can be like a virus. Also, it can live inside of another cell, and that's like super important. That and what I was getting at today is that everything a bacteria is doing, it can learn how to fight you. It has the ability to learn or take in products from another bacteria to learn. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it can split in as little and create daughter cells, or have sexual reproduction and create a daughter cell in as little as 12 minutes or as long as 24 hours, and can live as long as 12 hours. But our lives are so long as, let's say, 100 years. We have children that we have to raise and teach. We work on things that we don't finish in our lifetime and have to teach the next generation, not only the science we were working on, but why we were working on it, the length of time it takes to make a gun, a bullet, and why it works, and what we're doing, and medication, and all of this stuff. And even the guy who first made penicillin, that was an accident. In the time it takes for that cell to be pressured by the next bacteria, for it to find out, wait a second, something's trying to kill me, for that bacteria to be killed by penicillin, for it to have a sister that says, I know how to fight this, so you're gonna die, but I know how to fight this, so don't worry, die, I'll tell your daughter how to fight this. I mean, it is incredible how quickly they learn how to fight those things. And before you die, it has already taught all of its prodigy how to fight it. And so when people say, and just in the time that we've had COVID, how many mutations we've had. The reason why that's happened, like I said in the virus conversation, is that it goes in and out of us and creates copies. And when it copies wrong enough times, it creates, sometimes it creates funny babies, and sometimes it creates super strong babies, and those are mutations. Probably if you want a better explanation, I'm sure they should really bring the Magic School Bus back, because we're really in desperate need, Schoolhouse Rock and all that stuff, of all of those explanations. Man, those have been much needed. But other than that, I'm Vivian. Please ask your questions. Infection control, nurse epidemiologist, let me know if there's anything you need. Bye.